and welcome to Positively Ernest, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Dr. Ernest Holmes, founder of the Science of Mind. I'm Gary Takesian, your guide on this journey of what I like to call consciousness renovation, which we do by examining our old beliefs and replacing them with new ways of thinking that help us create the fulfilling life we desire. In this episode, we will be exploring the idea of oneness with all. And we start with this quote from Dr. Holmes. The science of mind is built on the theory that there is one infinite mind, which, of necessity, includes all that is. Now, to unpack this quote from Dr. Holmes, I think it's helpful for us to consider the prevailing spirituality in today's Western culture. Now, whether or not we've been exposed to specific religious teachings, we do live within an overall framework of the various Judeo-Christian traditions that arrived with our European forebears. For example, the concepts of heaven and hell are deeply ingrained in our consciousness, whether we believe in that or not. Many of our holidays have roots in this tradition. But for our purposes, I'd like us to consider their depiction of God as above humanity, both figuratively and, for some, quite literally. And if we closer look at the belief system, then it follows that part of the believer's life journey would be to traverse the gulf between themselves and God, in the hope of eventually becoming reunited. The key here is that their belief in the inherent separation of God and humanity therefore necessitates the need to reconcile. So, how does this relate to our lives? From our science of mind perspective, Dr. Holmes is talking about the one mind, which is another way of referring to God, and that one mind includes all that exists. And he teaches that since each of us are a part of this all that exists, we therefore are, in essence, a part of God. In another quote from Dr. Holmes, he adds to this idea when he writes, "Each one of us is a point in the infinite mind, a center in the consciousness of God, or the living Spirit." He's saying that there is no separation between us and God. In Science of Mind, we call this oneness, being one with the divine. It may help to think of this another way. We are a part of the infinite mind of God, just as a drop of water is a part of the ocean. That we have the same characteristics on an individual level as those of God on the universal. For me, what Ernest teaches gives me a new perspective on the biblical idea that we are created in the image of God, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual and consciousness sense. Now, being raised in a Christian family, one of the unanswered questions that kept occurring for me is, why would a loving God create all these hoops for me to jump through, and if I didn't, I'd be banished for all eternity? I just could never wrap my head around that. So it was a breath of fresh air when I discovered Science of Mind and learned that I did not need to be justified or forgiven in order to be one with the divine. It opens the door for me to a deeper feeling of empathy, compassion, and a sense of interconnectedness. Helps me navigate this life from a place of harmony and understanding. I'd love to hear from you on this topic. Have you ever felt isolated from a true spiritual connection? Or has the idea of heaven and hell ever caused you any existential angst? Please share your experiences with us below. Your sharing may be helpful to others on their own path of self-discovery. As we conclude today's episode, let's remember that oneness is not just a concept, but a lived experience, shaping how we relate to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. I like to think of it this way, that we are all threads in the great tapestry of life, each unique, yet inseparable from the whole. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Positively Ernest from Vida Spiritual Learning Center. If you found this meaningful, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment, question, or suggestion below. For more information, you can visit our website at vidaslc.org, where you can also make a tax-deductible donation to support the programming that we provide for free. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be notified of future programs. Thanks, and we'll see you next time as we are Positively Ernest.